Looks like we are live in all places. Hey everyone, it's Carol Williams with Williams Immigration. Good to be back live with y'all on TikTok, in the private Facebook group, on the Facebook page, and over on the YouTube channel. I am the manager and lead attorney with Williams Immigration, a boutique immigration firm here in the US. I work with clients all over the country and all over the world. We are a virtual firm. We work with business owners and entrepreneurs who have businesses maybe overseas who are expanding into the US, or companies that are already here in the US and they're hiring someone that's not a US citizen. So we make sure that they get the right work authorization, the right visa. If their companies then wish to sponsor them for green cards, we then work with the companies to help them do that as well. Excuse me. I also work with families that are sponsoring their family members for green cards. So usually that looks like a United States citizen who has a spouse, a fiance, an aging parent, or a minor child who they would like to get a green card. And remember, minor child in immigration is under 21 and unmarried. So if you are 20 years old and married, you are no longer considered a dependent on your parents' immigration file, and you need to find your own independent immigration status. I also help people apply for U.S. citizenship if that is what they do so desire as well. Excuse me. So I came on live tonight. If you guys have any questions, I'm happy to see if I can answer them. I am an immigration attorney. I've been practicing for 25 years. I'm a former USCIS Adjudications Officer. I worked at headquarters up at USCIS in Washington, D.C. So I do bring that kind of twist and knowledge to my practice and when I'm helping people. And today I wanted to kind of really just briefly talk about something that I really thought of before I popped on live. Another attorney friend of mine who does IP and trademark work and patents. She's a great attorney. She had asked me for a referral for a family law attorney. And I, sure, not a problem. I send that out to her. No big deal. But it made me think and to remind you all that I work a lot side by side with family law attorneys. When marriages don't work out, and one of the parties in the marriage is not a U.S. citizen, or they're in the middle of applying for the green card, or you're at the conditional permanent resident stage and you haven't removed the conditions, and the marriage isn't working and divorce papers are filed. I work very closely with the divorce attorney on the side of the immigrant to make sure that they are doing things correctly, so that they can preserve their ability to still get a green card. I do a lot of consultations where people are terrified that they're in a bad marriage, it's not working out, they're not really communicating very well with their spouse, but they're terrified of filing for divorce, or they're terrified that their spouse will file for divorce, and that will leave them out in the cold when it comes to getting a green card, and they won't be able to get a green card. That's not the case. The Immigration Service understands that divorces happen. They understand that marriages don't work out, especially for our marriage-based cases. I always tell people you do not need to stay in a bad marriage. You can get out of that marriage. You can, I work with clients. We, as a team, work together to help you keep your green card, remove the conditions, stay in the United States, keep working, keep your ability to travel. So that is something that we do quite a bit. And it's really work that I personally love to do. I don't think anybody should stay in a marriage that is not working just so that they can get their green card. I don't like that. So I thought about that today when a friend of mine asked for a referral for a friend of theirs to a family law attorney in a city that I used to live in and know quite a few attorneys in that city. So I thought I would let you guys know that. But, if I don't know your family law attorney, if I don't know your divorce attorney, I can certainly get to know them and work with them. We work really well together. And it's just nice to know that you've got your legal team working on your behalf. So let me see if there's any questions. Again, if you guys have questions, you feel free to pop those in the chat. I am an attorney, but I'm not your attorney, so I cannot give you legal advice that is specific to your case. But I can certainly give you general educational info. Do you know the wait times? Lord, y'all, I need to put these glasses on. Okay, I feel like I need someone to like pop in and remind me to put my glasses on. Do you know the wait times for the Cairo embassy interviews? I've been document ready since April 23rd. I do not know the processing times for the Cairo embassy. I don't know the wait times. Whenever the folks I'm working with ask me for wait times, I look them up. I have to look them up so that I can give them the most accurate time. So I just don't know all of the processing times and all the wait times around the world. So unfortunately, I don't know the wait time for Cairo. Sorry. What else do we have here? Someone says hello. Hello. Let's see here. What else do we got? I'm on a little bit earlier than usual. I've been trying to vary up the times, you guys, so that we can give people on the West Coast of the US a chance to pop on as well. Because usually when I go live a little bit later, that's easier for them, but it's harder for people on the East Coast. So I'm trying to vary up the times at night that we go live so we can capture more people. And then we also capture people across the world at different time zones. So that's always helpful. Let me see if I have anything over on YouTube as well. Let's see here. But y'all know me. Let's see here. I was going to say I don't see any questions. Y'all know if I don't see any questions, y'all all know that means I'm going to go make some dinner. Let's see here. Nice granny glasses. Thank you. I'm going to take that as a compliment. My progress time shows decision will be in 1 week. Will they really make a decision in 1 week? I don't know who they is. I don't know which office we're talking about here, but I don't know if they're going to make a decision in a week. I don't know what kind of case you have. But here's what I would say. Set your expectations low. Give them more than a week. If it has to do with immigration, set your expectations low when it comes to processing times. And if they come in a week, you'll be pleasantly surprised and very happy. If they come in after a week, then, you'll feel better about that. But I do not, the immigration processing times are an estimate, right? If we're talking about USCIS, it's about 80% of the cases. So if you're outside of that sort of general norm of their cases and your case takes longer, then it takes longer. And you're going to be irritated by it and you're going to be upset by it. So I always add in more time in my mind when I'm looking at processing times. So do I think they're going to come back in a week? I have no idea. I don't know what kind of case we're talking about. Would I tell myself it's going to take longer than a week? Absolutely. Because that way I will be far less irritated and I will not be looking at the calendar every single day and stalking my email and stalking my mail. So that's how I personally deal with the, USCIS processing times. Can a spouse come on a tourist visa while waiting for an interview date to be scheduled? I mean, if they have the tourist visa, sure. They can always go present themselves at the airport and try to get in. The better question is, should they? And the answer to the should they do that is I don't know, because I don't know your whole situation. There are a lot of things in immigration that you can do. There are a lot of files that you can file, a lot of paperwork that you can send into the immigration service with all these filing fees. The more appropriate question and the bigger question is, should you? Should you? And I don't know. I don't know your situation. I don't know, but can you? Sure, absolutely. Depending on your situation, Does your spouse risk the chance of being turned around at the border or, turned around in the airport and being put back on the next flight? Absolutely. So that's really a strategy question. Whenever I tell y'all, like, yes, you can, but should you? It's a strategy question. Strategy means that you need to talk with someone who's got some experience with this, and can really help guide you and give you some things to think about. My job a lot of times is to talk to my clients, give them the options, and then they make the decisions. So can you oftentimes do something? Absolutely. But it's really just a matter of should you. Some people, I will tell you, come in on a tourist visa while they have a spouse, green card, case in the works, and they come in and out and it's totally fine and they don't have any problems. But you will always hear someone who has a horror story to tell. 9 times out of 10, I think a little bit of counseling probably would have helped to prevent the horror story, or at least had them be prepared that that may happen. And then what do they do if they're in that situation? I filed an I-130 for a husband in Mexico. It's been 9 months. How much till we hear from USCIS? I-130s are taking about a year now. I just recently looked this up. So 9 months is, I mean, you kind of have a ways to go before you hear back on that I-130. So you definitely have some time. And y'all, that is one of the benefits of having an attorney on your side and on your team and in your corner. What the processing, my clients, people I work with, they know what the processing times are upfront. And we remind them when we update them as we go along with the case. So you're not sort of trying to have to figure it out on your own. Mick says anger is not the answer. I agree. Anger is not the answer, but sometimes we get a little irritated with the immigration service. But I do agree with you that in general, anger is not the answer. All docs have been completed and we've been waiting for interview. It's just taking so long. It's been about 2 years. Again, that is a consultation question. I don't know which office you're in. I don't know what you have filed. So that's really a consultation question. So 2 years could be right about where it should be, or 2 years could be like way outside of processing times. I just don't know. My case is still pending, marriage-based green card, almost up to a year. I don't know what the question is. I don't know where your case has been filed. There's a lot I don't know about that comment. My marriage case has been pending for 2 years and 2 weeks. Again, depends on where it is pending. Again, a little over 2 years. It could be normal. It could not be normal. It just depends on where it is pending. And so I don't know. But I understand that is incredibly frustrating. Let's see here. Green card renewal. How long does it take to get it? I don't know the processing times. I don't know. I look up the processing times for all of the folks I work with when we file the case periodically, and then when they specifically ask me. So it could. It's been a minute since I've done a green card renewal. Yes, I don't know the processing times off the top of my head, but you can absolutely go to the USCIS website, uscis.gov. And it has a place where you can look up the processing times. If you scroll down, it's roughly in the middle of the page. You can look there. It's Sharon looking to file my citizenship. My office is happy to help you with that. Just click the link in the bio and you can schedule a consultation and we can take it from there. But my office certainly handles citizenship cases. And we've got a question over on YouTube. I have questions on the EB3 process, particularly the perm. Does it apply to people? Does it apply to multiple people? Does it apply to multiple people? Can apply for the same time for the same company, or every perm apply to everyone separately? Hold on. I have questions on the EB3 perm. Got it. So so I think you're asking, can you do a multiple, can you use one perm form? Is that what you're asking, for more than one employee? Can a company apply for more than one person? So I'm going to guess, not quite sure what your question is, but I'm going to guess. A company can certainly apply for more than one individual. The perm applications are employer and employee specific. So each individual employee, the company would need to file their own separate perm application for them. The perm application is the beginning part, the first application of 3 for the EB3 application. Yes, it is it is a pair. It is an employee and an employer. That one pair files the perm application. If that employer has more than one employee that they want to want to sponsor for a green card and they qualify for EB3, then they will need to fill out a separate perm application for them. And perm, or I should say EB3 is the third employment-based category in order to get a green card. So I hope that was helpful, Lucas. Let's see here. Let's see here. See if we have any other questions. I don't see any other questions. This may be a short evening. But you know the magical words. If I say I'm going to hop off and go make some dinner, then y'all have all the questions. So I don't see any more questions, so I will stick around for another minute or two. And if y'all have questions, let me know. May I ask, what is that form? What is the form for the perm? It is the ETA 9089. That is the form for the perm application. Let me see here. When USCIS wants evidence for a green card, what do they want? Completely depends on what you file. If we're talking about a request for further evidence, they'll tell you exactly what they want. If you've already filed, I'm not sure if you've already filed or if the case has already been filed and they're asking you for additional information. If that's the case, then they will tell you exactly what they want. If you haven't filed, then the evidence that you submit depends on the type of green card application that you are filing. Are you filing for your spouse? Are you filing for, a dependent child? Are you filing for a parent? Are you a company that's filing for an employee? So the evidence really depends on the specific green card category that you are applying under. So that evidence changes in terms of what USCIS will want to see. When they send you to get your biometrics, does that mean you are getting approved? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Your biometrics are the beginning part of an application. And for the biometrics, what they do, they take your fingerprints, they take your photograph, and from those items, from your fingerprints and your photograph, they run background checks. So you're at the very beginning if you're getting your biometrics. Biometrics are standard practice for many of the application types, so it does not mean that you are automatically getting approved. It is just one part of the process, and it's actually in the beginning of the process. So y'all feel free to share this, share it out to people. If these, if listening to these answers, these questions and answers is helpful, I like to reach as many people as possible. Can a green card holder file for a spouse? File a green card? Yes, they sure can. They sure can. They are not considered an immediate relative. And so it puts them in a preference category. So it means they have to wait a little bit longer. But what they can certainly do is if they are a permanent resident and they are eligible while that application is pending for citizenship, they can apply for citizenship. If they get their citizenship, then that bumps them up to immediate relative if they are filing for their spouse, which cuts down the wait time. But that, again, a little more strategy involved there. But yes, a green card holder can file for their spouse. That would make them second preference category. USCIS accepted my working permit. They sent me a rejection notice. What to do? Call the office or schedule a consultation. I don't know why they rejected it. I don't know. I need to see what they say. But when they sent back your application, they tell you why they rejected it. They absolutely send you back a piece of paper and a note. It's usually typed, and it tells you why they rejected it. Let's see. Can I volunteer to work with an F1? Generally, no. But I always tell people they should contact their school DSO. They need to contact the International Student Advisor and explain to them exactly what kind of work you want to do. You can work under curricular practical training. There are internships that you can do. I don't know that volunteer work is really a part of that, but you should really talk to the designated school officer. And they may have a slightly different title, but you know who they are. They're the office that issued your I-20. So I would say go have a very in-depth conversation with that office and see what they tell you. Back over to YouTube, that an employer can apply for the perm for each employee separately. That is correct. Or the employer can open perm for multiple employees. So the perm application is specific to an employee. If an employer has 2 employees, which they would like to file a green card for, they would like to sponsor for an EB3 based green card, third preference, they must file a perm application for each of those employees. Or does it depend on different work industry? Does not depend on different work industry. The 9089 needs to be filed for each individual employee that an employer would like to sponsor. So I hope that is helpful. How long does it take to get a notice of receipt if an I-130 and an I-45 are concurrently filed via lockbox? It could take a couple weeks. Sorry, Lucas over on YouTube, you're very welcome. My pleasure. Oh, my Chantel, how long does it take to get a notice of receipt if an I-130 and an I-45 are filed concurrently via the lockbox? It can take a couple of weeks, quite honestly. It shouldn't really, mine generally don't take more than a few weeks. I got an intent to deny, ? You should schedule a consultation so that we can talk about that notice of intent to deny. The notice of intent to deny means exactly that. The Immigration Service is ready and will deny your case if you do not respond to your notice of intent to deny. But if you respond, you give them what they are looking for, then give them an opportunity to approve your case. But if you have a notice of intent to deny, the Immigration Service will absolutely deny it if you don't respond. I have DACA. Does that make the process for getting a green card faster? No, it does not. How long does it take to get an I-824 approved Texas Service Center? I have no idea what the processing times are for most application types, but you can go to the USCIS website, uscis.gov, and they absolutely have generic processing times listed. The processing times listed on the USCIS website reflect, according to them, about 80% of that specific category that you are looking at. So you're looking at the majority, how long it's taking for them to do the overwhelming majority of those cases. How long after you do your medical do you get a response back from USCIS? There is no set time for USCIS to respond back to once you send in your medical. There just isn't. It could take a couple weeks, could take a couple months. Just depends. They could, if it's a family marriage-based case, they could approve it. Maybe that's all they need, and they're still having this policy where they're trying to get through their backlog. So they may approve your case if it looks clean, if they have good documents, and they don't think there's anything going on there. They could approve it, or they could. That's totally in their discretion, or they can give you a notice for an interview. So, but there is no specific processing time once they get your medical. What else do we have for questions here? Let's see here. I don't see any more questions. Y'all know the drill. I'll stay on for maybe 2 more minutes, and then if there's no more questions, I will go make some dinner. And then what's tomorrow? Let's see. Tomorrow's Thursday. I'll probably be back on here. I'll probably be back tomorrow live as well. So you're welcome. How long filing for kids under 21? Filing what for them? Filing green cards? Who's filing? Really depends on who's filing, what category they fit in, as to whether or not they're able to be filed for. But I do not know processing times off the top of my head. I just don't, y'all. What else do y'all have for me? Let me check over on YouTube. I don't see any there. Naomi says, I'm a green card holder for 6 years. Now I want to be a citizen. The requirement is that you have been a green card holder for at least 5 years, assuming you are not married to a U.S. citizen. And so either way, you are eligible to file after 5 years. So looks like you are eligible to file. You want to make sure that if you're using the 5-year rule, that you have spent half of that time, half of the past 5 years, physically in the U.S. So if you do a lot of travel, you want to make sure that you check and see how much time you've had physically in the U.S., 24-hour cycles in the U.S., so that you don't get your application denied because you don't meet the physical presence requirements. So just make sure of that. If that is an application that you would like my office to help you with, all you have to do is click the link in the bio, schedule a consultation, or give us a call, 954-903-1337, and we are happy to help. If my sister's child is born in the U.S., can she get a green card? The child is a baby. If my sister's child is born in the U.S., if someone is born in the U.S., they are a U.S. citizen. So I'm unclear what the question is. Can she get a green card? Oh, can the mother? Maybe you're asking if the mother can get a green card. If my sister's child is born in the U.S., can she get a green card? Okay, I think I understand the question. So, adult children can sponsor their parents. The adult children must be 21 years or older. So your sister will need to wait until her child is 21 years old for that child to be able to sponsor mom. So in the meantime, the answer is no, that child cannot sponsor mom. Once that child reaches 21, then that child can sponsor mom. If between now and when the child reaches 21, then, mom should look for another way to get permanent residence here in the States. Let me see here. Do I work with people in Phoenix? Yes, I work with people all over the country and all over the world. The firm is virtual, so we give people their own client portal. They upload their documents. We do a lot of phone, a lot of video calls. So we work with folks all over. Let's see here. Me and my son's documents put in the same time. My son got work permit, social, but I didn't get mine. What? I have no idea. Just because people put their applications in at the same time does not mean they're going to get decisions at the same time. Different officers can process your application. If one officer is slower, one's faster, if one has more work on their desk, if a case was transferred within the office or to a different office, there are 1,001 reasons why two cases sent the same day do not come out of the service on the same day. So I have no idea why you have not received your documents, but your son has. And just because it's your son, I don't know the facts of your case, but your cases may have been adjudicated by different officers. Or there could be a problem with your case, or there, it could be an error. I have no idea. I put in all the necessary documents 6 months ago and don't hear from them since. Is that okay? It could be. I have no idea what you filed. It could absolutely be okay. 6 months in the immigration service is not a long time. So that could absolutely be okay. Let's see here. Let's see if there's any questions. Any more questions? Chef, you're very welcome. My pleasure. If you come to the U.S. with a K-1, how long can you file for citizen? Well, if you come as a K-1, you need to get your green card first. Once you get your green card, if you remain married to that U.S. citizen, it'll take you 3 years. You can file for citizenship within 3 years. If you are not married to that individual, then you must wait 5 years after receiving your permanent residence before you can file for citizenship. I'm planning to get him. I was told I should apply CR2, but I'm not sure if that's correct. I have no idea what you were asking me. I don't understand your question. You're planning to get him. Who is him? Who are you in relationship to him? I have no idea what you're asking me, unfortunately. Let's see here. What else do we have? I don't see any more questions, y'all. Let's see here. I don't see any in the private Facebook group. If you want to join that, you can certainly click the link in the bio. There is a link that will take you over there. And I don't see any on the Facebook page. All right, I'll give you guys a minute or so. If there's more questions, then I will stay on. If not, you know the magical words. I will go make my dinner. Let's see here. Give you guys a little bit of time. And if you have friends that you think would find this helpful, feel free to share this out to them. And y'all are welcome to call the office, reach out to me. The office number is 954-903-1337. If you are watching this on the Facebook group or on the Facebook page or on YouTube, the phone number and the website, which is clwimmigration.com, are on the scroller at the bottom. If you're on TikTok, you'll have to click the link in the bio to see that. If you start following me, you will get notifications of when I go live. And remember, we help employers who are looking to sponsor employees for temporary work authorization as well as for their green cards. So we do EB1, EB2, EB3, and a whole host of non-immigrant visa categories like H's, L's, TNs, O's. We also work with families, so that's usually going to be a U.S. citizen who's looking to sponsor for a green card. their spouse, their fiance, their minor child. Minor in the immigration world, y'all, is under 21 and unmarried, as well as their aging parent. Let's see here. What else do we have? What I want to say, since I put it all in, I don't get the work permit, and it is 6 months ago. That could be completely normal. Depends on what category your work permit was filed under. But you can go on the USCIS website, uscis.gov, and look at the processing times. I like to empower the folks I work with. So I encourage them to use the USCIS website to look for their processing times, because processing times change, y'all. So keep that in mind. It could be 8 months today. It could be 10 months tomorrow. It could be 4 months. Processing times change. They change based on a lot of things, but typically one of the things they change on is based on volume of cases in the door that need to be processed. They change based on how quickly cases are being processed. So during COVID, when nothing was being processed for certain cases for a while, those processing times just got longer and longer and longer and longer. So I like to sort of see the silver lining in things. So one of the benefits of those processing times getting pushed so far out during COVID is that now, if you are sponsoring a relative, if you're sponsoring a spouse, an aging parent, a minor child, and the case looks clean and your documents are there and they're good documents, immigration is using their discretion and they're not scheduling you for an interview. That frees up time on their end to bring other people in who they think need to have interviews. It speeds up the time of sending out the notice, of waiting, you going into the office, actually having the interview, and then waiting for the decision. We cut out all that time, and what you get in the mail is an approval notice and a green card. So really, I'm telling people, and have been for a while, now is the time to file. If you have a marriage-based green card, or you're a U.S. citizen and you want to sponsor a spouse, or a parent or a minor child, honestly, now is the time to do so, especially if your case is super, super clean. Immigration is definitely coming back and just, skipping the interview, which for some clients is really anxiety inducing as well. So now is a great time to do that. Is there a delay on work permits? I got approval for TPS and applied for work permit. I don't know if there's a delay for TPS related work permits. My office does not handle TPS, so I don't know offhand if there is a delay for work permits for TPS folks. But again, you can also go to the website, uscis.gov, and look and see what the processing times are. I entered CR1 here now, and I stayed here for 4 years and have a son. I'm planning to get him. I'm assuming planning to get him means apply for a green card. So you can certainly, do that. Let's see here. I don't see any more questions, y'all. Let's see here. What do we have? Can I file for asylum after 2 years of studying on my F1? I don't know. I don't handle any asylum in my office. I work with family members. Usually that looks like a United States citizen who wants to sponsor an aging parent, a minor child under 21 and unmarried, a fiance or a spouse. And I work with companies who are looking to hire someone that is not a U.S. citizen, so that we can get them the right work authorization. I don't do any asylum work. I don't do any deportation work. So I am not the best person to answer that question for you. What is the best visa, CR2 or IR2 to get my son? That is a strategy question. So I would recommend that you schedule a consultation with us and we can walk through what your options might be and the best for your particular situation. Let me see, what else do we got here, y'all? All right, y'all, looks like it's gonna be a quick night. Sometimes we're on here for over an hour. You are very welcome, Bella's World channel. Can I apply for a job to sponsor me if I'm done with my degree? You can absolutely apply for jobs if you are done with your degree. Whether or not the employer wants to sponsor you or sponsor anyone for that matter for work authorization is completely up to that employer. But you can absolutely apply for jobs. Absolutely, you can. Let's see here. My cousin is in Jamaica, born Jamaican, but his dad was a U.S. citizen, but he's dead. Well, I'm sorry to hear that his father passed away. I don't see what your question is, though. So I'll let you kind of quickly put your question in. If I don't see any other questions beside that one, that might be my last question of the evening. So I'll wait for you to put that in there. How can your cousin get to the USA? I don't, that's a strategy question that requires a consultation. I don't know what your cousin's situation is. How do I get to the USA is an incredibly broad question, y'all. That is not a question I can answer live. That is a question that requires a consultation where I dig into whether or not there are family members here, whether or not you have a job offer, what you do for a living, what's your career path, that's a whole conversation that I do during a consultation so that I can figure out exactly what your particular situation is and what options you have based on your situation. Once was on program, I don't know what that means, got married and came off, so I'm using my social to work. I hear it's illegal. I don't know what you're asking. Unfortunately, I don't know what you're asking. Family of 12 grandkids. I like that. I like that screen name. Was just wondering because of his dad having been a U.S. citizen. So that would certainly be taken into, we would certainly talk about that during a consultation. But there are questions that need to be asked surrounding the father having been a U.S. citizen. How long does it take a case after sending in the medical RFE? I get this question every single time I go live. There is no specific time frame for the Immigration Service to respond to an RFE unless it is an employment-based case that was filed premium processing. If that's the case, the Immigration Service will do its best to respond to within the same premium processing timelines. But for a medical RFE, there is no specific timeline for USCIS to respond to you. They could be responding to you with an approval. They could be responding to you with an interview. They could be responding with a notice of intent to deny. They could be responding with a request for further evidence. But there is no specific time frame by which they must respond to you. There just isn't, unfortunately. So I hope that was helpful. My pleasure, Zio. All right, y'all. I don't see any more questions, and I'm getting hungry. So this has been fun, as always. It's a little bit of a shorter night tonight, little under an hour, but I'm going to go cook myself some dinner. It has been awesome talking to y'all. I will be on again tomorrow, most likely, sort of around the same time. Again, I've been kind of playing around with the time frame to capture some people on the West Coast going a little bit later. That makes it super early for East Coast people, but then we've got people that are like, 12 hours away also tuning in. So I try to vary the time so that folks can catch me and not have to be up, at 1 o'clock in the morning their time. So if you want to work with myself and my team is awesome. I don't shout them out enough. They really are. They are amazing. Click the link in the bio, schedule your consultation, and then we can start rocking and rolling on your case. Everyone that I work with has always started with a consultation. It gives me an opportunity to find out what's going on, dig into your facts. It also gives you an opportunity to ask me some questions. You can send a note using the platform that you are watching on. So that's either TikTok, private Facebook group, Facebook page, or the YouTube channel. You can call the office at 954-903-1337. But I am Carol Williams with Williams Immigration, and I will chat with you tomorrow. So have a good night, everybody. Bye.